Shadowmaker by Apocalyptica. First time I think we've ever talked about this band on the channel. It's exciting. It's a really, really cool, exciting notion. I'm pretty stoked about this because Apocalyptica is a band I've been familiarized with for quite some time. The fact that we haven't talked about them yet is actually kind of surprising. So let's talk about them now. Let's talk about Shadowmaker since it will be coming out tomorrow, which is the 21st of April. And it's in some areas, I think it's already out. But let's talk about it. These are Apocalyptica is a trio of cello players that have a drummer that go along with it that initially gained a little bit of acclaim. Their initial claim to fame was doing Metallica covers. They were a tribute band to Metallica. In fact, their very first album, which was Metallica by Four Cellos, is I think the way in which many people were introduced to this product because of people's love of Metallica and hearing a different take on it, because not only were these covers very, very well done, but it was a unique idea. So you couple those two aspects together and you see a group that essentially raised up Metallica's music into essentially classical music and making it very, very accessible at that. So throughout the very course of their careers, this is a group that has since expanded their horizons from covers to also doing original works, and including some pretty well-known names within the vocalist department, such as Adam Gontier from 3 Days Grace, or Corey Taylor from Stone Sour and Slipknot. But for this album, for Shadowmaker, unlike their previous affairs that had kind of a revolving door of vocalists, this one here actually features the talents of only one. It features the talents of only Frankie Perez, and Frankie Perez, of course, used to be collaborative with a couple of members of System of a Down on Scars on Broadway. So, how is this going to transition over for the band? This is a fan base that knows them as a group that collaborates, but now they have essentially now tried the conventional band idea of having just one single vocalist, and building an album around the collective talents of the musicians and this one vocalist. And I will say this, it worked really, really freaking well. And I think the reason for that has a couple of different explanations. For one, this pre-established product already was fantastic based around the uniqueness of their product. It's not very often that you're going to hear a cello in a rock and roll work or something of this variety. It's a little more commonplace or a little bit more possible in heavy metal. However, to have it in every single song, really be the focal point, to really be the backbone of it, is kind of an idea that you're only going to see through Apocalyptica. And they're able to make their instruments sound just as conventional to the rock and roll scene as anything else, almost as though you would hear an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar. And whenever you consider it, a cello is a member of the same damn family, so why is it that big of a stretch? But for a lot of people, it still is. And this is something that they're able to perfect on this album, as they have in the past, but it's something where having only one collaborator as far as vocals are concerned, it could have been done with album number 3. It could have been done with every single one of their albums. They didn't need to do this revolving door idea. However, it was something that was really nice. They were able to work with a lot of people and give each of their compositions a little bit of additional flavor that has something to do a little bit with the vocalist that they have on the track. Frankie Perez has a very dynamic range, so this is something that only works to their advantage. This is one where, at times, you could think that he sounds a little bit kind of like Adam Gontier from 3 Days Grace, a little bit sort of kind of like Chris Jericho from Fozzy, but also has this tremendous, very heart-stringing voice that has the ability to really reflect emotion very, very well. He emotes his singing with exceptional grace, and that is a huge praise that I have for him. The band themselves are able to blend these songs with lyricism with just wonderful instrumentals, and this is where I think the real strength of this band showcases itself the best. Apocalyptica is pretty well known. People know who this group happens to be. That could make it very, very easy to acclimate yourself to 3 to 5 minute long tracks and not deviate from the formula all of that much. This is a band that is more than willing to go 7, 8 to near 10 minutes with some of their songs, and I'm looking particularly at Dead Man's Eyes, the finale of this affair as the example that they are not afraid to take it to the unconventional level. Once more, and moreover, this is a band that is not afraid to put on lengthy instrumentals. We're talking 6 minutes and 40 seconds, 7 minutes and 50 seconds. And we're talking having your lead single, the very first track that many people probably heard from this album on YouTube, Shadowmaker, being above 7 minutes by its own right. Unless, of course, people heard Slow Burn, which is a little bit more conventional. But these instrumentals are phenomenal. This is the way in which this band is able to blend classical music in with the rock and roll landscape, and it showcases a very important point, something that should build a bridge as opposed to it being burnt down. It's the fact that rock and heavy metal music is not that far off from classical music in its body and its construction, and it's something that should be treated as an art form just the same way. It's something where simplicity should not be the backbone of what rock and roll is here in 2015. It's something that can be elevated a little bit more. You could see your body of work as your symphonies. You could see your performances as recitals. You could see it exactly the same way as you would see a production of a Beethoven masterpiece, perhaps something from a Bach, or perhaps something from a Berlioz. It doesn't really even matter. This is a band that really showcases where that bridge lies. They cross the bridge, and they display so simply that it is such an easy transformation to see, that it should encourage everybody who's perhaps not playing a sexy instrument, not playing the guitar or the bass, or not learning a keyboard or a synthesizer, or maybe not becoming a drummer, maybe somebody who's playing a bassoon. Hey, nobody knew that there was going to be 3 cello players that were going to gain international acclaim. Who's to say that the next big thing isn't Slayer by bassoon? Or who's to say that the next big thing isn't Justin Timberlake by triangle or by didgeridoo? I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Your talent is your talent. Practice hard with what you love, and you'll always feel good about yourself. This album really performs exceptionally well. The flow is very well done. It's something that dictates itself through highs and lows. The instrumentals could easily seem like they're out of place at face value, considering there are a couple of them. There's about 4 of them total on the album. But whenever they come up, it's something that just flows so naturally and with such beauty and grace. They has the same peak and valleys of a progressive metal song. So this is something that works on multiple genres. It's very approachable to those who like modern rock because of singles such as Slow Burn, but it also helps them expand their horizons and learn to really appreciate some deeper and better constructed music, ones that have a lot less of a foundation in simplicity and more of a classical edge. Overall, this is a beautiful album, one that should not be slept on. I understand that some of you may sleep on these guys because of their associations with some of the, vocalists that I mentioned at the forefront of this video, but don't do that because they have a hell of a lot of talent and they should be respected. It definitely provides a really awesome environment whenever you're listening to it. It's certainly one that you could zone out to a little bit and enjoy the dreams that manifest based around it. I would give this album an 84 out of 100. I like it a lot. It's one that I went back a couple of times almost instantaneously. I didn't have to step away from it and sort of, gravitate back toward it. It was one that I wanted to kind of enjoy the experience once again very quickly. That storm that's coming, well, that's the storm of this album. It's the storm of Shadowmaker. Shadowmaker is upon us tomorrow, and it's going to be a fairly important release. It may not do as well as some of their earlier works because this is a little less conventional, and I really don't know if the name of their vocalist is going to really, it probably won't matter all that much, but it's not going to attract as having a Adam Gontier or Corey Taylor. But this is not an album to sleep on. This is one you should check out. And if you already have, what did you think about it? What did you think about this album? Favorite tracks? Tracks that you could care less about? Does this band suck because they're not doing Metallica covers anymore? Or you only like them because of I'm Not Jesus or some other bullshit? Let me know in the comments below. I want to know what you thought about this disc. And of course, spread this on to all of your friends and your colleagues and other fans of the band. Share this to the band. I want them to know that I'm appreciative of their hard works and efforts. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Cover Killer Nation. I will talk to you guys next time. See you later.